Hey bakers, welcome to How to Bake a Pound Cake. And listen, if you ever thought pound cakes were too hard to make, too dry, or if you're new to baking, you're in the right place because we're making pound cakes simple and fun. Today we're going to be making my summer berry pound cake. It's buttery, it's incredibly moist and packed with fresh berries, and honestly, it tastes pretty much like summer in every bite. So if you're new to baking or just getting started, go ahead and like my video and subscribe to my channel. One thing you'll learn about me is I don't believe there's only one right way to bake. I'll show you what works for me, but if you have a different method, perhaps from a family member or something else that you've learned, go ahead and use that. But let's keep the comments kind. All right, so let's get started with the ingredients which are listed in the comments. My star ingredients are going to be fresh raspberries and blackberries, along with freeze-dried strawberries, which give the cake incredible strawberry flavor without adding extra liquid. So I'm starting by tossing them, the fresh berries, with a little bit of sugar. It brings out their natural sweetness while drawing out some of the excess moisture. And that can sit while I make up the batter. First, let's cream our butter and sugar together for about 5 minutes. Now, don't rush this step. This is where we're going to be building the structure of the cake. Now, we're going to add in 1/2 cup of oil. Remember, butter gives us flavor, but oil helps keep the cake moist for days. So you're going to mix this together for a total of 10 minutes. The first 5 is the butter and sugar. Then you're going to add your oil and mix for another 5 minutes. Then we're going to add in our room temperature eggs, one at a time. Room temperature eggs mix easier, so just make sure they're nice and room temperature. And then we're going to start with our dry ingredients. I am going to be using 3 cups of Swans Down Cake Flour. I do like to sift mine. You don't have to, but I love the lighter texture it gives the finished cake. If you all have all-purpose flour, that works too. Just use 3 cups and sift that as well. Next, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Cake flour doesn't necessarily need baking powder, but I like to add a little bit to make sure I have extra lift in the cake, and I like the crumb that it gives in the final finished cake. All right, now if you use unsalted butter, you're going to go ahead and add a teaspoon of salt as well to your dry ingredients. But if you use salted butter like I did today, you can skip that step. Now give the dry ingredients a whisk, and then we're going to start by adding them to our butter mixture. I have an 8-ounce container of sour cream that I'm also incorporating as well. And we're going to start first with a little bit of flour, and then we're going to add our sour cream and alternate back and forth until the mixture is added all together. One thing I always do at this point too is I turn down my mixer so that way the batter doesn't overmix. Now let's get to these freeze-dried strawberries. Say that 3 times. I'm using 1 cup, and I'm going to use a food processor, and that turns them into a nice fine powder. This is one of my favorite ways to add big strawberry flavor without adding extra liquid to the batter. Next, I'm going to be adding 2 tablespoons of strawberry emulsion and 1 tablespoon of strawberry extract. Now, the emulsion gives the cake this rich strawberry flavor, so feel free to use it. Now, let's talk about these fresh berries. So I tossed them earlier in sugar, and now I have coated them with flour to kind of help them remain suspended throughout the cake. And we're going to add the freeze-dried strawberries and our fresh berries to our batter. Remember, don't overmix, just fold them in gently here. Before I add my batter to my pan, I do let my batter sit for about 10 minutes to let it rest. This works for me. It also helps prevent gluten streaks. And for my pan, I'm going to coat it with Baker's Joy. Now, again, if you have another method, maybe you might use shortening of flour or butter and flour. Use what works for you, but today I'm using Baker's Joy. So add it to your pan. You're going to bake it for 75 minutes on 325, and you can check it by using a butter knife, insert it in the center, and it should come out mostly clean. And here's my beautiful cake. I've taken it out the oven. I've let it sit for 10 minutes in the pan, and then I flipped it out. I let it sit for another 5, and then I let it cool for about 30 minutes until the cake cools completely, and then I add my glaze. And I topped it with fresh berries, and look how beautiful she is. Oh my gosh, and she tastes even better. And just like that, you have a beautiful summer berry pound cake that's moist and buttery and bursting with berry flavor that's perfect for summer. All right, so if you enjoyed baking with me today, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and let me know what other pound cake flavor you want to see next. Happy baking! Thanks for watching.